if you're going to be a leader, you have to get mentally tough. If you're tough enough anyway to keep turning up and not to stay at home. I mean, I have had some really bad moments, bad days. I would call them, I guess, breakdown moments. You get visions of maybe killing yourself or doing things that are not so great, and you think that's where I got to go. I'm good friends with Kong here, who's faced a lot of serious days like that. But that seems to be part of a lot of following Jesus and serving Him. And I think if we're expecting this jolly old ride all through life, we're going to be really disappointed. I think once you've accepted that fact, that you've got the harness on, you're in the saddle, it's a war, and you're going to fight the good fight. So then you're more mentally prepared for it, rather than say, well, that's a shock, I'm having a bad day. I think, these bad days are for real, and everybody's going to have them. And to avoid, what I did is avoided the thought patterns that took me there. Because I generally found I was thinking about something and then I would find myself in a bad emotional state. But if I could just discipline my head and say, don't think about that thing, don't let it. But the negative thoughts are hard to get rid of, they're sticky. They kind of blackmail you, they hijack your thinking. So to actually eject that and fight the fight in your mind, I found it to be one of the greatest secrets to just getting happy and trying to stay in that place.
Is mental toughness, do you think, Phil, something that people have in degrees? Is some people tougher than others? And is it something that you've seen develop in the people who you lead? Have you seen someone who wasn't so mentally tough become mentally tougher? Or do you think it's something that you're born with?
I don't think you're born with it. I think, well, maybe some are, but I think you have to get mentally tough and emotionally tough. I think you need a thick skin and a soft heart. A tough skin and a soft heart. Because if the way that you cope with pain is to harden up your heart and say, well, I'm not going to let feelings like that get you again, you actually inadvertently cut your heart off altogether, and you don't feel anymore, and you're just damaging people on the journey. But to keep the soft heart, you know you're going to get wounded, you know you're going to get hurt, but just to go through the process of, okay, we forgive, we forget, we move on, but we're not going to go hard. Beautiful. I love that little lube-making moment. You guys,
I don't know what that is, but it's really lovely and soothing.
Now we're all going to feel better. Yeah, we need some joyful music around here.
One of the things I've learned, is that the church is incredibly resilient.
Yeah.
Because, when we first started getting attacked in the media, my great fear, of course, was that, no one would come to church anymore. And just to watch, so I've learned, things that used to affect me badly, I've learned to not worry about it so much. One of the things I've learned in church life and in leadership is that if it's a crisis to me, it'll be a crisis in the church. If it's not a crisis to me, it won't be a crisis in the church. Church is incredibly resilient. And so that takes some of the pressure off. So I don't find myself stressing over some things that I used to when I was younger. And that's where the trust in God. He said, I'll build my church. Unless the Lord builds a house, they labour in vain that build it. Now, I've really got much better at just realising God's hand is on His church. When I did have to, don't forget my father, at City Campus, my father was pastor for 22 years. 9 months after I took it on was when I found out that he had this history. And it's amazing. By God's grace, I don't personally know one person who left that congregation over that issue, and which is a miracle. It's an absolute miracle. And so I just think, sometimes we should trust God more with His church. The city had built it, and the church has remarkable. It's our lack of wisdom that does cause trouble in churches. When we make silly decisions, or we get spread by people in the church, whatever. But the church, it is amazingly resilient. It's awesome to watch, because through all the attacks and storms we've had, the church plods along, plods along, plods along, plods along. And so, I've got a lot more relaxed about a lot of these things.
I'd love